Il passato prossimo con i verbi riflessivi e reciproci. In this lesson, we will discuss the use of reflexive and reciprocal verbs with the passato prossimo. You already learned how to use the passato prossimo and reflexive verbs in previous lessons. To review, with reflexive verbs, both the subject and the object are the same. Mi sveglio alle 7. In this example, mi refers to myself, the object of the sentence, and sveglio refers to io, the subject of the sentence. Literally, I wake myself up at 7. Remember that when conjugating verbs in the passato prossimo, you usually have to choose between essere and avere. In the following example, in the first sentence, the verb avere is used with the past participle of svegliare, svegliato. Because the verb svegliare has a direct object in this case, mia figlia, avere must be used. In the second sentence, the verb essere is used because andare does not have a direct object. Ho svegliato mia figlia alle 9. Dopo sono andata in cucina per preparare la colazione. Now that we have reviewed the passato prossimo and reflexive verbs independently, we are ready to learn how to use them together. With reflexive verbs, you always use the auxiliary verb essere rather than the auxiliary avere. You probably remember from a previous lesson that the past participle in the passato prossimo with essere has to agree with the subject in gender and number, and the same is true when it is used with reflexive verbs. In the first example below, we have the reflexive pronoun mi, then the auxiliary verb sono from essere, then the past participle svegliata from svegliare. Mi sono svegliata alle 7. Notice that svegliata is in the singular feminine since I, the speaker, am a female. Notice, however, that in the second example, the subject, noi, is plural, so the past participle is also plural and masculine. Ci siamo svegliati alle 7. Finally, let's look at an example with reciprocal verbs. In the following examples, the verb pronoun pattern is similar to reflexive verbs in that the subject and object are both in the third person plural, the loro form. But in this case, instead of the action falling back on oneself, the action is reciprocal between subject and object. In English, we use the expression each other to express this idea. Anche se non si sono visti per 2 anni, si sono chiamati ogni giorno. Even if they didn't see each other for 2 years, they called each other every day. Reciprocal verbs, like reflexive verbs, always take the verb essere instead of the verb avere with the passato prossimo. I hope this lesson on how to use reflexive verbs with the passato prossimo has been useful. Ciao!